Have you ever taken steroids?
No.
No.
I was just no comment. Problem with questions around performance enhancing drugs, others, it's a very awkward subject. Do I believe they can be used for good? Yes, 100%. Science proves that, right? Do I believe in the wrong hands they're dangerous? Yes, 100%. Every day proves that.
By the way, does Dwayne Johnson take steroids? Hi, it's Rob Moore and welcome to Disruptors. On this episode, we have the nightmare, Martyn Ford. And we go deep and long into some very controversial subjects, especially around steroids. Martyn talks about celebrities and influencers in the industry who might be using steroids, and he really opens up and talks about this area that most people wouldn't have the courage to do. But before we dive in, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Have you ever taken steroids?
No.
No. What do you think of steroids?
No.
No.
I was just no comment.
Yeah, okay, fair
For
enough.
me, the steroid situation is a very difficult one to go into, because it's like me asking you, have you ever done cocaine? Have you ever smoked marijuana? Have you ever drank excessively? Have you ever drank excessively?
Yes.
So would you classify yourself as a bad person?
No.
Could it potentially be a bad thing to do?
Yes. Good people do bad things.
I don't necessarily think it's a good or a bad thing.
And I'm not trying to angle you as a bad person.
For me, my problem with questions around performance enhancing drugs are it's a very awkward subject, because do I believe they can be used for good? Yes, 100%. Science proves that, right? Do I believe in the wrong hands they're dangerous? Yes, 100%. Every day proves that. The issue with people openly talking about drugs, especially steroids, from someone who's a fitness person on social media, is that young, impressionable kids will listen to an answer and take from it what they want. They won't do the research, they won't do the blood testing, they won't do the training first for 5 years by eating healthy and then hitting your genetic potential. Oh, well, so if Blah-de-Blah's took steroids and he's successful, that makes sense to me to take steroids. I just think it's a very difficult question to answer and to be subjective, and to also give it the time it requires, and also be responsible as an adult, someone who has been through depression, been through very dark times. I'm not stupid. I understand the benefits of steroids 100%. I also understand that the majority of steroids on the market are black because you can't buy them legally. The majority of steroids on the market are therefore most likely fake or made in someone's house, which make them extremely dangerous. Legalized steroids in countries are also extremely dangerous because the majority of people take them don't understand how to take them properly. I think there's a massive problem with steroids. I think there's a huge problem with steroids in the fitness industry. I think it's something that needs to be looked at. I think it's something that is only going to get worse while social media is how it is, because people cannot achieve the physiques they want naturally. I don't care what people say. There's 2 or 3% of genetically gifted people, and then the rest will always be chasing that look. And there's no way you can look like a fitness influencer without drugs. I can look at 100 athletes and I can tell you 99% how many are or aren't on drugs. It's not hard to say. And that's why for me it's a question that if you're looking at people's pictures, if you're in the fitness industry, you know the answer. Do you think Dwayne takes steroids?
I'm not in the fitness industry, but looking at him, I'm like, probably yes. And I didn't even know what tren was until 2 days ago. Sorry, 2 weeks ago.
That's kind of like saying, do you enjoy a drink of alcohol? Yeah, I like a glass of wine, or you going, yeah, I'll have 7 bottles of Jack Daniels. Tren is like one of the most potent, most dangerous steroid.
I only heard of it 2 weeks ago, and as you can see, I'm not a steroid.
No, I definitely wouldn't have said you were.
Should we do a would you rather on that?
But for me, it's a subject that...
Is it not good? By the way, thank you for talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a good thing if you can educate people on the risks and the dangers.
I do think education on steroids is very important, and it's something that needs to be looked at. And I think it's not just...
By the way, does Dwayne Johnson take steroids?
I don't know.
Oh. But you said you look at 99% of them and you think you could tell. Would you say he does?
I don't need to answer the question. He's the most famous, one of the most famous actors in Hollywood, and I love him to pieces. I think he's a great guy.
Well. Yeah.
I think he's a brilliant guy, and he trains ridiculously hard, and he's worked every second for his physique. I mean, if he's natural, he's fucking gifted. But I wouldn't say anything about him by doing it or not doing it. The only issue I have with people taking steroids is when it's in a sports setting and you're not allowed. I think that's not fair. Do I think sports people take steroids? Yes. Whether, depending on what is classified as a steroid, in a sense that there's different things that they'll do. It's just medication in sports. Yeah. That's basically what it is. And when people dedicate their whole lives to being successful and can't win, and you're telling someone you take one tablet, you'll win, are you going to take that tablet if you've always failed? Of course you will. Yeah. We sports people want to win it. Do you know what I mean? This is what people don't understand. It's any means necessary. How many business people do dodgy dealings to jump up the ladder? Yeah. Exactly the same as taking steroids in sports.
I don't come from the standpoint of taking steroids moral judgment. I don't actually look at it like that. Just look at it as a thing someone does.
Yeah, for me,
or doesn't do.
For me, the whole steroid thing is something that the problem is you've got people who aren't educated on it, making an opinion on it. That's the biggest issue. Now, there's obviously a lot of health issues associated with it as well. But then there's a difference between having a glass of wine on a weekend and having 5 bottles of wine on a weekend. Yeah. In the sense that when you hit a certain age, 30 plus, 40 plus, taking TRT, which is testosterone replacement treatment, if your testosterone levels coming down, do the research on that. It's so beneficial to health. It's ridiculous, but that's like that much compared to your 15-year-old kid who's starting the gym taking that much. That's the problem. And the problem is thinking that steroids are the be all and end all of training, and when they're really not. They're genuinely not. You know, I can sit here hand on heart and say, now I'm clean. I'm great. I feel amazing. When you're in a bodybuilding environment and so on, I don't think it's a question that's double loaded, and it's a very awkward subject to talk about. And I come from a standpoint where I'd rather a professional talk about it, a doctor who can give good advice to kids who are very impressionable, and a stage where I think us as adults have created it for them, if I'm honest, through media and social media, and made them feel not good enough by looking normal, that they feel the need to have to look a certain way. So I think it's a question that should be asked on a 2-hour-long podcast with professionals in the room. Yeah. But not just professionals on medication, professionals on mind, depression, anxiety, what leads people to taking steroids. You've got the sports side, you've also then got the side of people that hate themselves. You know, some people can't stand the way they look, so they want to create a different persona. Does that make that person a bad person? That they're suicidal because they feel like shit, knowing that if they were to get into a gym and put a bit of muscle on, they might have a bit more self-confidence. Does that make them a bad person? I don't think it makes them a bad person. I think it makes them an unhappy person. Yeah. And then they're getting judgment on the back end of that. It's a difficult question to answer for me from where I stand.
It's really good that you talk about this. I know it's a taboo subject, but it's really
It's so difficult to me because of the cancel policy. Yeah. It's like, I did a podcast with Brian, I spoke about it quite openly. Fuck me, the backlash I got from that was horrendous.
Brian Rose, was it?
Yeah, it was a lovely podcast, and it was talking about the impact of steroids and the side effects of steroids and the worrying about kids taking steroids. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not prepared to risk my acting career on trying to help people. They ain't gonna fucking listen anyway. I mean, they won't thank you for it. No. But the reality is definitely an issue with it.
But knowing why people take them, that's
what you need. That's the real conversation. Is are you taking it to cheat, or are you taking it because you're so fucking down that you don't see another? And how long have you trained for?
21 years.
And how many results have you got?
You said it yourself. I actually do want to put on a little bit of muscle.
Go on. Train.
Train. See you.
That was a joke.
So if you like the video and you want to see the full, raw, edited, uncut interview, watch here. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, and remember this: if you don't risk anything, you risk everything.